What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And it's Wednesday, and I forgot, so it was supposed today. So here we are.
Yep. What?
All right, so he wanted to talk about the post-traumatic stress that comes with what's going on today with the protests and everything like that. And it's honestly, I don't know if y'all can see it. I hope y'all don't see that. Honestly, it's not the protesting that gives me PTSD. It's the fact that they are making it okay with putting out images and videos of people that are dying. So you come across it over and over and over again, and it's almost as if they're trying to desensitize you to seeing Black people die and make it normal for you to see it, and then it's almost as if you can just scroll past it as if nothing happened. So those are the kind of things that traumatize me. It's not necessarily, I love seeing my brothers and sisters and allies come together, work together for a movement, but it's honestly the treatment, the brutalization, the killing, that type of repeated imaging that I see, that is what gives me the anxiety and the trauma and what keeps me up at night.
I second that because from watching it over and over again, and it seems like people, as soon as it goes down, people turn the cameras on and they make it go viral like that.
But I think it's with good reason and intent that they're doing it. So I don't necessarily, I don't slam the person that's doing it. For instance, the one that got George Floyd's death on camera was said to be 17 years old. So she was a child witnessing something traumatic, and people started flooding her inbox with hate and all kinds of stuff. But she's a baby herself. Witnessing something traumatic, and what did you expect her to do in that moment? So she was getting it out. The way that most of us get information out quickly is social media. So she did what she knew how to do, and this movement was born because she took that stand and took those photos and those images and that video and got it viral. So she helped unite all these people, George Floyd and her video.
She helped get these guys in prison, getting these guys in jail, because if they would have been running around the streets. That's like what happened with the brother Aubrey. He was gunned down just jogging in the neighborhood, and if it wasn't for someone had a guilty conscience and leaked that video, and it gone viral like that, those guys would have still been on the street. I mean, they were on the street 2 months free. And walking around, had their jobs, got their pensions, was like nothing. You know, living their whole lives, going home, seeing their families, eating dinner. You know, and
that's exactly what I said in the other video.
Eating dinner with their families, and this man, this brother lost his life and left behind a whole family. His father, his mother, his siblings, all those people are missing him. For 2 months, nothing. Until this video got out there, and then people started raising hell. You know, things like that.
And you see how it's beneficial on one end of the spectrum. Like, it's very beneficial to get the word out really fast is through social media, because you have, like, say 200 friends, and they all share this, and then their friends share it, and then their friends share it, and that's how these movements start, because of stuff like that. On one end, that's a great, and it's an amazing tool. Social media is an amazing tool, but on the same token, seeing this repeatedly over and over again is very traumatizing, and you don't realize how traumatizing it is, because you're seeing somebody that looks like you over and over again being beaten or being killed, and it happens over and over again. And I wish that I'm just on the fence about it, because I love social media for its swiftness. Because think about how news traveled before in the past. Sometimes it would take weeks, months. Imagine waiting for the news to come on at 10 o'clock and maybe, just maybe, someone covering it, and then it just goes away. But with social media, it keeps it out there, it keeps the momentum going. But at the same time, my goodness, like, it's so traumatizing.
So people been catching a lot of videos, and it felt like every day I was seeing a new video. Every day Someone showed me another video. Look what so and so is doing. Look what they're doing. The camera's right in and darkening their face. They're manhandling kids. I seen a guy.
Well, that was Sacramento, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was actually. I saw a child, 10-year-old, that was manhandled, and they videotaped it. They treated him like an adult. The kid was like no more than 10.
And that's what I was saying in one of my videos, is that we become adults way sooner than our counterparts. Like, they consider us adults probably like when you're walking, it seems, because we get tried as an adult way sooner than our counterparts. And technically, I thought there was a legal age when you become an adult, yet these kids, younger and younger and younger, are being tried as adults for crimes that I don't even understand how you can try them as adults. You know what I mean?
Like, I mean, when back in the day when we were growing up, I mean, you get in trouble with the police or something like that as a child, the cop will have you sit in the corner or whatever, stand there, and they'll contact your parents, and they come through and they talk. Hey, this is what happened, blah blah, and then your parents are liable for any damages that you've done, because you're still considered a minor. You know what I mean?
But prison is a business, and that is how the age for this stuff is younger and younger, because they get more of our black and brown children in jail and younger and keeps their business going. So it's a business move. We all know this. So the more they have tried as adults and in their prison system, getting money for these prisoners and having, I'm not gonna get too
not
deep.
even just that. Say this child, now he has a record at 10. Say he outgrows whatever his outgrows things. He gets older, and they're looking back in his history. Said, what is this? He's trying to pursue a career, get a job, whatever, start a business. They're looking at all that stuff, and they're like, wait, you had a criminal record?
Hey, there was 3 guys that were in prison together, and they started a business together. So, but you can get your own. You can get your own.
Still, I'm talking about him cleaning himself, like after that situation. Because, kids, go through rough patches. But that was extreme when I saw that situation.
No doubt.
But
he didn't have his parents with him, and there was no adult
they kept screaming. When I was
and
watching, they kept screaming for his parents. The guy that was filming was like, he kept insisting you should bring his parents before you guys take off. And it was about 6 or 7 of them. But it's one little child.
But do you notice that in general, there's always 6 or 7 police officers? One of the questions I posed on my Instagram was, what were you taught about Black history when you were in school? Because mine started with slavery from kindergarten till it started with slavery and it ended with Martin Luther King. And that's how, as I was funneled through school, that's the message that I kept receiving. You were a slave, and then you got Martin Luther King. You were a slave, and then you got Martin Luther King. And it wasn't even just it was a way to keep us thinking that we were less than the entire time. While they had these glorious stories about other people, they didn't tell us about our Black inventors, Black Wall Street. There was little to no mention of Malcolm X. I didn't hear about Marcus Garvey until I started reading other books. And it's just amazing how much information and that they keep down. I bought my kids a book when they were little about Black inventors because I wanted them. Representation is everything, and I just want to make it so that we're fairly represented in history as well. But then that would mean admitting a lot of things were stolen, you know what I mean? And a lot of credit that they took for themselves was due to us. So I don't think that history is going to be rewritten anytime soon. But if you have Black children, I invite you to get your own books and build up your own library so that they can learn. Because, I mean, our library is pretty good. I had to search out books. It was hard to search out books when they were young. Not like now, there's a wealth and an abundance of books. But before, having to search on books for Caribbean people, Black people, like it's just hard to get that so that they can get fair representation of themselves, I wish I knew every part of me and where every part of me was from so I can get a little bit of everything. But Kimana and Taj used to love those books, with the books on Puerto Rico, the books on Jamaica, books in Trinidad, like all those books, Anansi the spider, like all those things are things that were important to them. So we still have those books, and I want them to go to their children because representation is everything. I want people to see that there's happy marriages and people, you know what I mean? Like, it's not all bad. And even we're resilient people, and we still make it through despite everything that tries to hold us down. We still make it through, and we still love hard. We still, raise wonderful children. We still are a great group of people. So, people tend to look past that and see us as baby mamas and baby daddies and deadbeats, but there's full-on married couples that raise beautiful children.
Yes.
And I want that represented as well. My Instagram is lit because it has all of it in there, but every representation is everything. So if you keep hearing like, oh, there's only this many people in the home or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's damaging. And I remember, like, I don't know what I was filling out paperwork for, but they were surprised that my kids had the same dad. Then they were surprised that we were married. And I was like, end up going off on the person on the phone, like, what the fuck kind of questions are these? Do you ask white people these same questions? And she started tripping up on the phone, and I'm like, who outright just assumes, because she just made an assumption that I had two different fathers for my kids and that I wasn't married to the father of my child. And I was like, where did you base this assumption off? My voice? What did I said I was African American? What? And that was disgusting.
It's a lot of generalization. I went through that. When they were small, I went through that. Was I married to the mother? I was like, yes. What kind of question is that? Where we're, and I met other brothers that went through the same thing when they were fathers, and they said the same thing. They're like, Kev, like, you wouldn't believe, I'm in the mall or something like that, and they're like, oh, is that, or is your kids, they have the same mother, or are you married to the mother? And it's such a stereotype, unfortunately. So, and there's a lot of two-parent households of African American people out there, two-parent households, but they don't get enough representation in the media. So they see the trash on TV and they think that's pretty much us, a single mother raising kids all by herself, and the welfare system is raising the kids, and that's not necessarily true.
And there's nothing wrong with being a single mom or a single dad or anything like that. And you could still raise beautiful children. You could still have, everything could still be good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't take anything away from single. I think that's a hard job. Being a single parent has got to be one of the hardest jobs. So, I don't take that away from anyone either. But I also want that not just to be considered the norm, like that's all that we are as a people.
And if you see on TV, and you see sometimes in magazines, even TV shows, they push the African American woman, and they say, "Oh, it's her and the kids," and you're like, "Where's the father?" That's always my question. Where's the father? Like they try to put those messages out there under the table, or even outright in front of you to say, "Oh,
they already broke down our families long before."
No, oh yeah, he's gone. You know what I mean? And then you see the bitterness, and they project some of the women being so bitter about the father leaving, and he's having multiple baby mamas and all this nonsense that, that not necessarily true. There's people in other nationalities that go through the same crap. You know what I mean? But they have a plethora of two-parent households, and we do have two-parent households. So it's just a bad. It's a misrepresentation of us as a people.
So it sounded like where it was going to end. It sounded like you were going to say something. But yeah, I think representation is everything. So I just want to make sure that, we're fairly being represented in the media, because you will look at the media and that's how people base their stereotypes, right? So they find these things, representation of us over and over again with the same thing. Like, oh, they're stealing. You watch enough movies shows, all that stuff, even though they're not real, you just keep seeing these images over and over and over again. And then they push out, like, when something does happen to us negatively in the news or something we've done in the news, they push that out. And that's how stereotypes are born, you know what I mean? So put out positive narratives of your people as well. They uplift our people so that they can have positive imagery as well. And that's why I do follow things like The Black Man Can and Black Love Doc and stuff like that, because the Black marriage movement and stuff like that, because I want to see that, you know what I mean? It gives you hope, and it lets you see that it's not all bad, you know what I mean? And I tell my daughter to follow these pages as well, because I'm like, I want representation on her page too, you know what I mean? So even if she's mindlessly scrolling, the image will stick in her head. But anyways, I just wanted to make sure I made my Wednesday video, and I don't even know what it's gonna be called, but we love you. Have a good night, and we'll see you in the next video.